Good morning, everybody. Excuse me. Rise and shine. Ready or not, let's do this. Woo! Excuse me. Take two. Good morning, everybody. Rise and shine. Ready or not, let's do this. This is a ridiculously early morning webinar to start your day off right, whether you're ready for it or not. There's a little bit of business sense, a little bit of mindset, something to get your day up and running like a well-oiled machine. Something to get your day off. Wow, today is really, it's really early. No, it's not. It is 7 a.m. Let me do that again. This is something to get your MLM network marketing, small business, brick and mortar, up and running like a well-oiled machine. Whether you are a newbie, a seasoned veteran, or somewhere in between, there is something here for you. Welcome. Good morning. My name is Mina. Happy Tuesday. Today is January 13th, 2015. I created this webinar series to help push myself out of my comfort zone and to share my experiences as I build my business, with also the intent to help you also grow into success alongside with me. Let's do this. Yesterday, we spoke about talent is nothing without skill. You can't get by on talent alone. It takes a lot of practice. You have to develop your skill. It takes a lot of hard work and determination. We gave some examples of athletes who were highly talented but fell a little bit short on the wayside because of several things. It could have been with responsibility, with character. They just did not develop their skill as they should have. That was yesterday's webinar. For today's mindset moment, we're going to talk about something that I learned from Tony Robbins. It's called an escape from anxiety. These days, with the world that we're living in and a lot of information that comes at us at warp speed, we tend to be more anxious than yesterday. And a lot of things happen, and we tend to be always in a reactive mode. And that being in that mode is not very conducive to a lot of things. A lot of people, instead of dealing with the stress adequately, they just cope with it. They just deal with it when it comes. And what Tony Robbins teaches, he says that the thing that makes us unhappy is living in reaction to stimuli from the environment, constantly converting them into causes of stress. So that's what we are in a reactive state most of the time, all the time. The majority of us, we just live in a reactive state. It comes and we just freak out. We'll have a fit, and then we'll convert to emotional eating and eat stuff that's not good for us, but just gives us comfort. And so Tony Robbins teaches, well, why not turn that all around? And instead of being in a reactive state, be more in a responsive state. Let me elaborate a little bit on that. I learned from my first upline that there are several ways that you can behave in a situation that occurs to you. You can react to it or you can respond to it. When you react to a situation, you are allowing that circumstance to control you. You are getting upset, you're throwing a fit, when it could have been something as simple as, okay, if you live in the city and you're running late to work and you swipe your Metro card and there's no more funds on your Metro card and you're really late for work, and so you're reacting, you're upset, you don't want to lose your job, etc., etc. You're having a fit. That's reactive. That's being reactive to your situation. But when you respond to your situation, you are in control of the situation. So how can you get in control of that situation? Well, you go and you swipe your Metro card and you realize you have no more funds. And then the line to refill your card is really, really long because it's a Monday morning. Okay, you realize that being reactive is not going to really do you any good health-wise and emotionally. So you just roll with the punches. You text your boss, you call your boss and say you're going to be late, you're running late. You get online, and as you're online, you're thinking how you can make the next day better. Okay, perhaps I should go to bed a little bit earlier and lay out my clothes and have my bag packed and have my breakfast ready or have the coffee machine running. or my thermos filled with my warm water and lemon, and have like a fruit there, and have everything ready so that when I get up, it's just boom, 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 get up and go. So I don't go through that again. And I'm going to also make sure that I'm going to fill up my MetroCard to the brim so that I have more than enough money, so I don't, that doesn't happen to me again where I'm swiping the MetroCard and I have no funds. So that is just a way to respond to the situation and to be even a little bit more proactive the next time around. And that is what Anthony Robbins teaches in Escape from Anxiety. And he gives this really great example of the businessman who usually travels and he lives out of a suitcase. And that is his profession. He just travels for a living because his company sends him here and there to do business. So instead of just being reactive when at the last moment his company says, okay, we need you to go travel to Geneva, etc., to do this thing, and then realize, oh my God, I have to, what do I pack, and yada, yada, yada. Instead of getting reactive, better to be responsive and just have a suitcase set aside with clothes and a billfold of money and the toiletries and everything you need for your trip, just there packed and ready, so that when the company says, when your company calls and says, okay, we need to go to Paris to attend this conference for us, yada, 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 you have that suitcase ready, you have your billfold of money ready, you have everything ready that you could just, do a little bit of adjustments here and there and grab your suitcase and go. And what does that do? Planning ahead reduces a lot of stress. And that is an escape plan from anxiety. Being able to plan ahead, being able to anticipate what could come your way, what monkey wrenches can come your way, and planning and preparing to deal with that. So that lowers your stress level and increases your confidence level to the roof. That's what he likes to say. Your stress level goes to the floor, your confidence levels goes up to the sky because you're prepared. So what he's asked here, let's see. Okay, this technique that I just spoke about, what Tony Robbins teaches, is called the Fix It Forever system. It's a way to re-engineer what you're doing, or the way that you're doing it, so that things move smoothly up front. So what you do is you sit down and you think about a situation and you identify the things that make you stressed out. What could happen? What is the worst case scenario, or what usually happens and then makes you stress out and freak out and have a fit? And then you need to re-engineer that situation and put things in place so that you can deal with that situation better. If you have kids and they come home at a certain time of day and they're hungry or they're hangry and they'll drive you up the wall until you feed them, then why not put some measures in place so that when they come home, they can go straight to the refrigerator after washing their hands and have a snack there that you prepared for them? Or say that you're not home when they get home, they're older, and they get home before you do, and you already have something like snack prepared for them, and so they already know what they need to do. They already know how to handle the microwave or the toaster oven or something like that. They know how to handle everything in a safe manner so that when they come home hungry or hangry, they can feed themselves or something, or have fruits or crackers or things set aside for them so that will hold them over till dinner is about to, before they have dinner. So that is one way of re-engineering the process so that you're not stressed out. You put some measures in place and you take care of that situation. And so then your life runs just a little bit more smoother. So here you go. How can you apply this to your home business? How can you apply this technique to your home business? Well, I was on a webinar yesterday where a couple, Dustin and Tracy Wisnowski, they have a new baby. And now that with a new baby, they have to be more careful with how they spend their time, because of course with the baby, that takes a lot of time to raise the baby and love the baby and all that. So they use Google Calendar. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about Google Calendar in just a bit in the business sense of this Hangout. But say, and they use the Google Calendar to schedule out all the things they need to do way in advance so that they're prepared and they're less stressed because they have everything in place. They have a plan in place. That's a good that is a good escape from anxiety, to have everything in place, planned out and written out in stone. What happens if you have a morning webinar, like I do? I have an early morning webinar. I usually have it at 6 a.m. I'm now brainstorming a brand new time because things have, life happens. So I'm going to have to move the time to, it still will be a ridiculously early morning hour at 7 a.m. But either or 6 a.m. or 7 a.m., what are the measures I need to have in place so I'm not stressed out when I have to do the webinar? Well, I have to prepare for the webinar. I have to look for material. I usually do that the day before. And I have that written out on my notes, which I have here facing me to the right of me on my computer on my desktop. Other things I have to do, let's see. Oh, here's the example I give. Usually after this webinar, I want to write content, write a quick blog post. I want to post it to my social media. But usually after the webinar, my dog needs to be walked. And she'll usually appear like right here. You'll see like a little black mass of fur. And she will pant very loudly. She's an older dog. And so I know I need to walk her because she's got to go. She can't hold it. So how do I, and that could be stressful when I want to do certain other things to just get in the groove of things. So how do I alleviate that? What measures can I put in place so that I can escape from the anxiety of, worrying about walking her right after my webinar? Well, I can walk her before the webinar. Or if you have a rock star husband like I do, he walks her before he goes to work. So that is one less stressor to think about, so that I can do the webinar, and then right after I can start writing my content and posting to social media and do all the other things I need to do, so that without a break in between, so everything flows smoothly. So, or I can walk her super late the night before. If my husband doesn't have time in the morning to walk her, I can walk her super late, like 10 p.m., 10:30, so that in the morning she doesn't have to go right away. I can do the webinar and work on my content and post it, and then take her for a walk. So that stress does not stick to me. It just bounces off like Teflon. So preparation, in a nutshell, preparation and planning ahead and planning for the worst case scenario, that's an escape from anxiety, because you have placed those measures in place and you fix that challenge forever, right? So that is the mindset moment of this Hangout. And now I'm going to share with you the business sense moment of the Hangout. I mentioned earlier a webinar I attended yesterday where two leaders, a couple, Dustin and Tracy Wisnowski, talk about how they manage their time better than before now that they have a child. And they use the Google Calendar. And Google Calendar is a free tool you can use. And the cool thing about Google Calendar is that you can also download an app to your smartphone, so that whatever you put on your calendar is synced to your smartphone, so you're keeping on top of the things that you need to do each and every day. Now, what the benefits of a Google Calendar is that, or just a calendar of any kind, is that you schedule out your day, and because you're scheduling out your day, you have to find out what is your sweet spot and where you do the best things. So I learned from a video by Justin Brook is that you want to put in the biggest things first on your Google Calendar. That is, the first thing you put in is your most important things, and that is your sleep and your meals. You need to put those in because those are set in stone. You go to sleep at a certain hour, you wake up at a certain hour, you eat at a certain hour. So that's how you fill out your calendar first, with your sleep and your meals. And then your personal development, time that you dedicate to pouring into yourself. That's also very important. What else? Working out, exercise, that's also an important thing that you put in. You mark your calendar and you plan out all those important things in your calendar first. You fill out those spaces in your calendar. Walking your dog, which is pretty important because they always need to pee, you put that in as well. Every little thing that you do that takes a space of time, you put that in your calendar. And then you're going to put in your projects and your tasks, what you do, like the webinars that I do, and then the content creation, phone calls that you need to make, and meetings or webinars that you need to attend, things like that. And then you put in your appointments, all the things that you have to deal with. Or if you take your mom to I was going to say take your mom to the vet. No, no, take my mom to the clinic, to the doctor. Those things and that's how you schedule out your day. And then, once you put in the most important things first, you realize how much time you have left. And then you can schedule out the things you need to do for your business. The goal here is to be able to get things for your business done in less than 4 hours a day, get it streamlined. Because when you think about it, and Tony Robbins talks about it, we tend to over-exaggerate the time you need to do a task or a certain project. But when you sit down and you write it out, what you really need to do, it comes down to maybe several hours. Like maybe the example he gave was that he asked his team, how long would it take to get a certain project done? And someone said 10 weeks. And so then Tony Robbins said, okay, let's sit down and talk about this and plan this out. And when they finished planning it out, it came down to just 7 hours. That project was able to be completed in 7 hours because you cut out all this extraneous stuff and all these exaggerations, and you got things done quicker. So I'm going to share my screen right now. I'm going to show you my Google Calendar, which is a work in progress. And let's see, here we are, calendar. Okay, so it is a work in progress because I just started it, and I already realized the little adjustments I made. And what you're going to see here is that I have my Tuesday plans out, but I don't have the rest of my week planned out because I'm using today as an example of what I've scheduled and what actually happened, and I will adjust it for tomorrow. So let me share my screen. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Present to everyone. And here is my Google Calendar. So it's Google Calendar comes free with your Gmail account, and Google has a lot of cool things like Google Docs and all this amazing stuff. But I'm going to stick with the Google Calendar. As you can see here, I slept from 11:30 to 5:30. Well, not exactly. I went to bed at midnight because I started doing another project, and yeah. And then I didn't exactly wake up at 5. I woke up around 5:45 today, and but things happened, and I started to hang out a little bit closer to 7, which is why now I'm rethinking the time for this early morning webinar and moving it to 7 a.m. So here at 6:38, where I should be doing my content creation post hangout, that time needs to change as well. But you get the idea of what I'm doing here is I planned out my day, and I'm seeing how my day goes, and then what I'm going to be doing is that I can change out the times here. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on this, and I like it that it's color-coded. I'm going to change this to 7 a.m. to 7:30 for tomorrow, and I have it at a color-coded thing, and now I'm going to save that, and you can see a pop-up window. It says, would you like to change only this event, all events in the series, yada, yada. I'm going to say here, these all events, okay? And then, so now I've moved it to 7 to 7:30, and now I'm going to change this here to 7:30 to 9. I'm going to save that here. And so now you can see how it changed. And now I'm going to just, this part here, where it says walk honey, I'm going to delete it here. I'm going to delete it. So now, as you can see here, I've changed it up. I'm still going to try to wake up at 5 in the morning because I do need some time to get up and have my personal time and to, to get up, have my personal time and get ready for this webinar. So what I can do here is, let's edit this, personal time, gratitude. I'm going to do it till 6:45, and you can just change it like that. Save, like so. And so you can see that Google Calendar is pretty seamless. It's very simple to create an event. So when you create an event, you just title the event, you put in the time, and you can click on this, and you can choose the date. And then you can click on this and choose the time where it starts and when it ends. You can even choose your time zone. I'm in the Eastern time zone. And then you can say all day, or you can repeat. And when they say repeat, you can do weekly, or you can do monthly, or daily, or every weekday. You know, it's pretty seamless and very, very straightforward on how you can schedule out. And then you can put a description here and write it out, and you can color code it. And then you can add a notification, a pop-up, or email. You can get an email that gets sent to you. And then, yeah. So that's what Google Calendar is. So let me just look at my notes here and go back. So that is the business sense moment of this part of the Hangout, is how to use a Google Calendar to plan out your day and plan out your time. What I learned from Tracy and Dustin is that they plan out what their videos are going to be like. They plan out their webinars, because you know they belong to two different companies, not two different network marketing companies. They belong to the same company that I belong to, which is MLSP, which is a marketing platform, an educational platform. And then they have their primary MLM company. And so they have different webinars and different meetings that they need to be at. And so the cool thing about the Google Calendar is that you can share it across family members and keep on track of what needs to be done. And it makes it seamless with the Google app. So they plan out the content they have to develop, the blog posts they have to write, the videos they have to film, the webinars they have to attend, and having it written down and they can see it and color coded, then they know what they need to do next. So it's good to have a plan in place of how your day is going to look like, so that you can bang it out and still have more time in the end. And isn't that an escape from anxiety, meaning that you have a plan in place and you are ready for whatever monkey wrenches gets thrown into the cogs of your life. So what Tony Robbins says here is that change is never a matter of ability. It is a matter of motivation. So how can you affect this change? Well, you have to be motivated to want this change. You really have to want to do this. You want to change your life. You want to make sure your business is moving smoothly. You have to be motivated to put these changes in place. We all, myself included, we all face the challenges of time management, and we're always seeking better ways to improve our time management. And the very fact that you're here watching the replay of this webinar, or watching right now, just attests to the fact that you want to change and you really are willing to change. And the opportunities are always there. There's always a new opportunity each and every day to change. So in summary for today, we spoke about an escape from anxiety, and that is just setting measures in place, thinking about the worst case scenario that can happen in a situation, and then putting some plans in place. So what would I do if A, B, and C happens? Then I would do D, E, and F, and put that plan in place. I mean, sometimes it's good to, I'm going to call it constructive worrying. What is the worst thing that can happen? But not constructive worrying that it eats away at you and makes you a bundle of nerves. No, thinking of like a contingency plan just in case this thing happened. What can I do so I'm not so stressed out? What plan can I put in place? And so that is what Tony calls is the fix it forever system. When you put things in place and you have a plan in place, then there's less stress and more confidence because you get things done. And in the business sense moment, what can you use? A tool you can use is your Google Calendar, which is a very seamless application that you can have on your desktop and on your smartphone. I have an iPhone, and the app that I have is called Um, it is called, excuse me, it is called Callan Mope. I don't know if you can see it here. I'm going to see if I can show it to you. Right there. It's called Callan Mope. Callan Mope. And so if I can show it to you right there. It's loading. So as you can see, if I have it on my month, and it's on the 13th, and you see all those little colorful little dots, that's how my day is planned out. If I do day, there we go. Oh, that's pretty. So they have like these little color-coded things of how my day is planned out. So that is today's Hangout. Mindset and Business Sense moment. I want to thank you for stopping by on Rise and Shine, Ready or Not, Let's Do This. If you liked what I spoke about on this webinar, please leave a comment below and share with a friend or two. And I'll be back tomorrow at a new time at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Same channel, same bad time. Have a great Tuesday, folks. This is Mina coming to you from New York City, out in the borough of Queens. On Rise and Shine, Ready or Not, Let's Do This. Have a happy day. Cheers.